At 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a woman picking pecans suddenly finds herself surrounded. Details on the terrifying encounter. And Governor Abbott honors a local sheriff for his decades of service. Plus, a key Victoria County official announces retirement, who's stepping down, and what's next.
Well, we're looking out to the west coast because that storm we've been talking about is beginning to move ashore. You can see how it's bringing rain to much of the southwest. Well, that is going to be crossing over our area and affecting your weekend. So we'll be talking about it coming up in a moment.
Plus, a local retailer helps children learn and get creative this fall. A look at the free initiative. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon, and thanks for being with us. I'm Shauna Curry. A Victoria woman says a pack of dogs left her feeling unsafe in her own yard. They surrounded her this afternoon while she picked pecans. 25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman spoke with her about the incident.
How long has this been happening?
Over a year, I think. Yes, it's been happening. It's just gotten worse.
Belinda Cantu says what started as a peaceful afternoon quickly turned frightening.
So I was picking pecans. All of a sudden, the neighbor across the street, all the dogs came at me, talking about more than 8 of them.
Cantu says she screamed for help as the dogs surrounded her. That's when a neighbor heard her cries and rushed over with a bat, swinging to scare the dogs away.
A neighbor about 3 houses down, she came and actually she helped me, because if she wouldn't have helped me, they would have attacked me, you know. And I was so shaken. In fact, I'm still shaking a little bit.
Oh my gosh. Neighbors along Jecker Street says it's not the first time something like this has happened. They say packs of dogs have been roaming the neighborhood for years, creating fear every time someone steps outside.
There's have been children that walk by here, walking. They're scared, you know. They'll run through here. And the dogs come out of nowhere. They're from big ones to little ones.
Residents express the dogs come from a nearby property, claiming the owner keeps around 20 dogs that often roam around free.
And I've been here for a long, long time, and it's affecting me where I can't even come outside. Yes, I finally had enough, and I'm actually scared. You know, I'm scared.
Residents are pleading for local authorities to step in and find a solution to keep their neighborhood safe. Amaya Norman, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
Neighbors say they have called police and filed several reports, but so far nothing has been done. We have reached out to the Victoria Police Department and are waiting to hear back. Well, Victoria County Animal Services is seeing a troubling trend with animals, with more than 1,500 animal bites reported over the past 4 years. Most of those bites come from dogs and cats, often while the pet was with its owner. So far this year, there have been 235 reported bites, with numbers ticking up during the summer months. That averages out to about 27 bites a month. Animal control officials say it's a reminder for pet owners to stay alert and handle animals safely to prevent future incidents. Well, the weather is slowly changing a little bit. Let's go to Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez for a first look at our forecast. And Mac, this weekend is a really big event. We have Warriors Weekend coming up, and looks like the weather might not cooperate.
I want everybody to remember that we had a whole lot of really nice weekends this summer. This particular coming one is not going to be that one, okay? And we've got quite a bit of weather. Now, it's on the quiet side right about now, but when we look out on the west coast, you see it right here. The stormy weather has begun to move onshore. They're getting rain and snow in California, rain all the way down to Arizona. This low is going to travel almost due east and then roll into our area. It looks like a very soggy, even Friday night for football may be affected, and certainly Saturday, I think you got to start looking for Plan B. We'll have all that coming up in just a moment. Shauna, back to you.
Judge Rodney Durham today announced he's running for re-election as Justice of the Peace for Victoria County Precinct 2. Durham was appointed in 2021 and elected in 2022. He oversees civil and criminal dockets, conducts inquests, issues emergency mental health orders, enforces truancy laws, and magistrates detainees at the county jail. A sixth-generation Texan, Durham holds degrees from West Texas A&M and South Texas College of Law. He previously worked at the Victoria County District Attorney's Office. Governor Greg Abbott joined the Coastal Bend Peace Officers Association and Operation Lone Star Task Force in Goliad today to recognize Live Oak County Sheriff Larry Busby for 44 years of service. Abbott thanked Sheriff Busby and law enforcement at all levels for their work in keeping Texans safe. He also spoke about Operation Lone Star and other public safety efforts and said he remains committed to supporting law enforcement and first responders across the state. Goliad County Sheriff Roy Boyd and other law enforcement officials also attended. Victoria County Elections Administrator Margetta Hill is retiring. The Victoria County Elections Commission will meet Tuesday to accept her notice of retirement and plan next steps for filling the Elections Administrator position. Hill was appointed to the role in 2019. Families can explore local museums for free this fall thanks to a new program from H-E-B. At De Leon Plaza this morning, the company launched its Explore More initiative, offering 50 free passes at each participating museum in the Crossroads area. First come, first served. The program runs through November and December. H-E-B says it's a fun way to help children learn and get creative. To see which museums are included, just come to crossroadstoday.com. Here are some of the top headlines in the Cuero Record. DeWitt County focuses on emergency preparedness, and Scary Schleicher Street expands its annual Halloween display. To read these stories and more, visit DeWittCountyToday.com. And remember to subscribe to our Crossroads Today YouTube channel, hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Assaults on federal agents surge 1,000%. The escalating confrontations ahead. Plus, popular weight loss drugs create a new problem for employers. How many are responding? Immigration raids in major cities are sparking protests nationwide. At the same time, Homeland Security says immigration agents are facing record levels of violence. But as ABC's Jacqueline Lee reports, despite the chaos, ICE officials say enforcement will continue.
In Chicago today, a large crowd gathering after what appears to be an immigration operation on the city's southwest side. Some people seen taking video of the agents and shouting at them. Our Chicago station reporting there was a car crash, but what led up to it or who was involved is not known. Armed federal agents and several unmarked vehicles on the scene. Just a day ago in New York, a chaotic scene as masked federal officers raid the city's Chinatown neighborhood.
It's gotten a little hairy at points with people running, people falling down in the street, and federal agents running after them.
Federal agents say they arrested 9 people on Canal Street, one of the city's most famous streets for vendors selling knockoff designer goods. In this video, one agent pointing his taser at the crowd, and in another, protesters on the streets shouting obscenities at officers. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons saying today on Fox News, New York City can expect to see more arrests.
It's definitely intelligence driven. It's not random. We're just not pulling people off the street. There was a specific reason based on criminal intelligence and criminal activity that we showed up on Canal Street.
Also Tuesday in Los Angeles, a targeted law enforcement traffic stop led to the shooting of a suspected undocumented immigrant and a law enforcement officer. According to the Department of Homeland Security, 44-year-old Carlitos Ricardo Parillas allegedly tried to evade arrest by using his car to ram a law enforcement vehicle. Officers then firing defensive shots, according to officials, with a deputy U.S. Marshal struck in the hand by a ricochet bullet. Parillas shot in the elbow. Parillas runs a well-known TikTok account with about 130,000 followers and follows ICE operations in Los Angeles, according to a community organization. He has been charged with assault on a federal officer. A Department of Homeland Security official saying law enforcement officers are facing a 1,000% increase in assaults against them and calling for an end to violence against ICE. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
California Governor Gavin Newsom will deploy the California National Guard to help support food banks. This comes amid food benefits delays during the federal government shutdown. The governor's office made it clear that the National Guard will not be acting as law enforcement. The 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Pasadena is set to hear arguments related to President Trump's own deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles. The federal government shutdown has caused CDC updates on flu, COVID-19, and RSV delayed just as virus season picks up. The CDC's last update was back on September 26th, and experts say the pause is an expected result of the shutdown. Some states are still collecting and sharing data on their own, which can be found on state health dashboards. But for now, the CDC says this season may look similar to last year. Plans for federal updates could be delayed, though. More people are using popular weight loss drugs, and it's starting to cost employers. A new study shows 43% of large companies now cover GLP-1 medications, up from 28% last year. These drugs were designed for diabetes but have become widely used for weight loss. Smaller companies are less likely to cover them, and some employers are now rethinking coverage altogether, possibly limiting it based on BMI or requiring weight management programs. It has been 10 years since experts started recommending peanut products for babies to help prevent serious allergies. Now a new study shows it's working. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither looks at the data and how parents can safely introduce peanuts early on.
For decades, parents were told to keep peanuts and nut products away from young children until age 3. But in 2015, research caused experts to flip-flop. The current guidelines say introducing these foods in infancy can actually help prevent food allergies.
The end goal is to see this tide turn.
A new study published in the journal Pediatrics determined about 60,000 children have avoided food allergies since guidelines changed, including 40,000 children who otherwise would have developed peanut allergies. Still, about 8% of children are affected by food allergies, including more than 2% with a peanut allergy.
There's been a lot of fear.
Dr. Ruchi Gupta says that fear may have stopped some from following the guidelines, but she says parents should start introducing peanut products as soon as their baby is ready to eat solid foods, usually around 4 to 6 months.
Use like peanut butter, smooth peanut butter, and then thin it out with breast milk, formula, applesauce, whatever you desire. And then slowly introduce it to your baby. A little bit on the lip, let them lick it. Add a little bit more.
Gupta says when introducing peanut products, parents should watch out for signs of an allergy like rash, hives, and vomiting. She says those are the most common symptoms in babies with a food allergy.
But if they eat it just fine, then I recommend just keeping it in their diet, keeping it in 2 to 3 times a week. And hopefully, that way they go on to enjoying it.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dr. Gupta says the more different foods that parents can introduce children to at a young age, the better. She says that includes other allergenic foods like yogurt and eggs. Here are some of the top headlines in the Port Lavaca Wave. A nonprofit shares information to prevent bullying, and Seadrift selects a new police lieutenant. To read these stories and more, go to portlavacawave.com. And if you see news happening, call our newsroom at 361-576-0026, or you can send us an email at staff@crossroadstoday.com.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. 84 degrees. We started off very nicely this morning with that little north wind that came in, but then it just got warm in the afternoon hours. So it didn't last very long. That's probably going to be our high for today. Our average is 83, which where we're supposed to be this time of year. But the big thing is that rain coming in this weekend. We'll talk about it after this. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I don't know if you noticed, but last night we picked up a little bit of a north wind, and this morning was very comfortable with the clouds. It looked like the weather had changed finally, but the sun came through and we warmed us up, and the little front is already south of our area. But now high pressure is over us right now, but it's going to be changing as everything starts looking at the west coast. Now, this is, as I mentioned earlier, an upper air storm. In other words, where you and I walk around, that's the surface. In the middle of the atmosphere is about 20,000 feet up. And between 20,000 and 30,000, a lot of stuff goes on. That's where the airplanes fly. Well, up there we have this circulation that's going round and round, and what that does is it lifts the atmosphere and produces the rainfall. You can see all the rain now occurring throughout the desert Southwest. First of all, let's look at Texas. Nothing happening today. Yesterday was kind of busy with the front, but here is that whole thing that you're looking at, and it's not a little thing. It's a fairly large area that's sort of spinning around, and this whole thing is going to be crossing Arizona, New Mexico, and then eventually getting into Texas. So this has got a little bit of us written on it. So this is a future tracker to give you an idea of the timing and what we expect. Lows right over there. We go to Thursday. It's still there, but with the rain and snow in the higher elevations, we're doing fine, okay? And then we go to Friday, and you can see how the low starts to move inland, and this should be coming into far west Texas right there. And then on Saturday, it's right on top of us, okay? As long as it's on top of us, we've got unstable atmosphere, we've got rain, thunder, and rather inclement weather. Now, this is for you on Saturday, and I know you've got plans, but this is going to be part of your plan here. Now, on Sunday, it finally begins to move out, and we get a couple of days of tranquil weather behind it as it continues rolling east. But then I'm expecting another front to come through with cooler air that will actually continue the little bit of a cooling trend around here. It won't be as hot for next week. Now already for Saturday, Friday, you see right there how excessive rainfall is forecast for much of north central Texas and the hill country. That's on Friday. Obviously, we're just beginning to get it. So on Saturday, it's on top of us. So it's pretty good likelihood that we'll be seeing quite a bit of rain. Now, here's the future cast on rainfall. You can see how it begins to get heavy in far north Texas. This goes to Friday, so I can get you to Friday. So you can see it coming out of the southwest. You see how North Texas all the way down to Del Rio starts picking up that activity, and then that drags through our area on Saturday. So pretty good, solid likelihood that we're going to see this. I wouldn't, just make it out of thin air. So it looks like it's going to be soggy this coming weekend. 67 our overnight low temperature, getting up to about 88, 90 degrees, but the humidity is what makes it feel really hot. So here's your day planner for tomorrow in Port Lavaca. 1 or 2 little sprinkle showers early in the morning, but getting up to about 87. In Cuero, you're looking generally partly cloudy most of the afternoon with a little 20% for the late afternoon and an 89 as a high temperature. Your 7-day forecast has 2 alert days. That's Friday night when the storm gets here and Saturday when it expects significant rain, 1 to 3 inches over the weekend. That is your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Shana.
Still to come, Christmas is a few weeks away, but new numbers show how much you'll likely spend this holiday season. The markets closed in the red today with the Dow dropping 334 points, the S&P 500 sliding 36 points, and the Nasdaq falling 213 points. The price of oil is up $2.14 to $59.38 per barrel. Now to a stunning headline. Amazon is reportedly planning to replace 600,000 American jobs with robots. As ABC's Maggie Rulli reports, the company now trying to explain.
This morning, concerns that Amazon, the second largest private employer in the country, is planning one of the biggest workplace transformations in modern history.
In a fulfillment center, the Cardinal robot will pack packages into carts.
The New York Times, citing leaked documents, reports Amazon expects sales to double by 2033, growth that would normally require 600,000 more workers. But the company is reportedly looking to fill those jobs with robots and automate 75% of its operations.
We could do this with our robot. We could do this with our technology. That's what we're going to do.
In the near future, Amazon reportedly estimates automation could help it save more than $12 billion and shave about 30 cents off each item it ships. In a statement, Amazon said the leaked documents reflect the perspective of just one team and don't represent our overall hiring strategy, adding that the company is actively hiring and plans to fill 250,000 positions for the holiday season.
One of the things that we've been proud of over our 10-year history is the ability to develop robots that work well alongside people.
It comes amid growing fears of technology replacing human workers. The so-called godfather of artificial intelligence has been sounding the alarm.
If I worked in a call center, I'd be terrified. If I was someone like a legal assistant, a paralegal, they're not going to be needed for very long. For mundane intellectual labor, AI is just going to replace everybody.
Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Amazon said it is busy training human workers for higher paying jobs that will include working with robotics. Well, Christmas is nearly 2 months away and holiday spending is expected to reach another milestone this season. The National Retail Federation says consumers plan to spend nearly $900 per person on average. The NRF annual consumer survey report projected more than $600 will go towards gifts for family and friends. Nearly $300 will be used on food, decorations, and other seasonal items. This year's spending amount is the second highest in the survey's history. In addition, the NRF projects 55% will shop online. Tesla is expected to report nearly $1.9 billion in earnings thanks to strong vehicle sales last quarter, but that is still down from $2.5 billion this time last year. Analysts say the drop comes as Tesla loses key income sources like EV tax credits and regulatory credit sales. And globally, Tesla's sales are down 13% compared to the first half of 2024. Samuel Adams just hit a major milestone with its newest extreme beer, Utopia's 2025, now brewed at 30% alcohol, making it one of the strongest beers ever made. It is so strong, it's actually illegal to sell in 15 states. The limited edition brew comes in a copper kettle-shaped ceramic bottle, holds up to 24 servings, and will cost you $240. This is the 14th release since Utopia's launched in 2001 and the first to hit that 30% goal. Well, to get more news, weather, and sports, just come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. Up next, a lottery winner credits an unexpected source for helping her hit the jackpot.
Government shutdown, day 22. No end in sight. And now demolition at the White House to build President Trump's $250 million ballroom in the middle of the shutdown. Plus, the major attack on Ukraine, a kindergarten hit. World News Tonight with David Muir is the most watched newscast in America.
A Michigan woman who won $100,000 from the Powerball says she got her winning numbers from ChatGPT. She says she asked ChatGPT for a set of Powerball numbers and then played them in the September 6th drawing. When she checked her ticket, she saw that 4 of her numbers and the Powerball matched. She says she was in total disbelief. She bought the winning ticket online at the Michigan Lottery website. She says she plans to pay off her mortgage with the winnings. I never knew ChatGPT could see into the future, but
I guess it was just as random. I mean, it's just
I would assume so.
Throw some numbers out, but paying off your mortgage, that's a really smart thing to do.
It sure is.
As opposed to what the other millionaires do. They go, oh, let's buy an island.
They go and buy a bigger house or
more debt.
Yes.
Anyway, folks, we're looking for the weekend being rather uncomfortable because we've got the alert flags up for Friday and Saturday. Friday night for football, we've got rain, and Saturday we got rain as well.
All right, so get those umbrellas handy. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here at 6.